Episode 4 Wrong Girl. Everyone in the small town of Birchwood knew to avoid the old Whitewood Manor on the hill. Legends spoke of curses, ghosts, and shadows that moved when no one was looking. But for Clara, it was just another house, one she was being paid to clean. Clara wasn't from Birchwood. She had just moved in a month ago, taking any odd job she could find to get by. When Mr. Grayson, the manor's reclusive owner, offered her a generous sum to tidy up, she didn't hesitate. "You sure about this, miss?" the taxi driver asked as he dropped her off at the gates. "Why wouldn't I be?" Clara replied, clutching her cleaning supplies. The driver shrugged. "It's just... people say that house doesn't like visitors. Folks who go in don't always come back out." Clara smirked. "Sounds like they had the wrong girl then. I'll be fine." But as she approached the towering manor, doubts began to creep in. The windows, dark and uninviting, seemed to watch her. The air was heavy, and the overgrown gardens seemed to whisper secrets in the wind. Inside, the house was eerily quiet. Dust covered every surface, and cobwebs stretched across the chandeliers like delicate lace. Still, Clara wasn't one to spook easily. She rolled up her sleeves and got to work. Hours passed, and the house seemed almost grateful for her attention. The air lightened as she swept, scrubbed, and polished. By the time she reached the second floor, Clara had convinced herself the stories were just small-town nonsense. That was until she entered the library. The room was massive, with shelves stretching to the ceiling and books stacked haphazardly. But it wasn't the books that caught her attention. It was the portrait above the fireplace. A young woman stared down at her, dressed in an old-fashioned gown. Her eyes were sharp, almost alive, and her expression was one of disdain. What unnerved Clara most was how much the woman looked like her. "Strange," she muttered, shaking off the unease. As Clara cleaned, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the curtains made her jump. And then there were the whispers. At first, they were faint, rustling of leaves. But as night fell, they grew louder, more distinct. "Who are you?" a voice hissed. Clara froze, the duster slipping from her hand. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. The air grew colder, and the whispers seemed to come from everywhere at once. "You don't belong here. You're not the right one." Suddenly, the library door slammed shut. The portrait's eyes seemed to burn into her, and the whispers turned into a deafening roar. "Leave!" the voice screamed. Clara bolted, her heart pounding. She stumbled down the grand staircase, the house groaning and shifting as if alive. The front door swung open, and she didn't stop running until she was back at the gates. The next morning, Clara went straight to Mr. Grayson's office in town. She slammed the keys to the manor on his desk. "I'm done," she said. "Find someone else." Mr. Grayson looked up from his papers, his expression unreadable. "What happened?" Clara hesitated, unsure how much to say. "That house, it's not normal. Something's wrong with it. And the portrait in the library, it looks just like me." Mr. Grayson's face paled. "The portrait? That's impossible." "Why?" Clara demanded. "Because the woman in that portrait is Evelyn Whitewood," he said slowly. "She was the original owner of the manor, and she's been dead for over a century." Clara's blood ran cold. Mr. Grayson leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. Evelyn was said to be cursed. She always warned that if the wrong person entered her house, it would awaken the curse. Clara, I think that wrong person might have been you. Clara left Birchwood that same day, vowing never to return. But sometimes, late at night, she could still hear the whispers. You're the wrong girl, but you'll do.